Rob, you can start us off.
Hello, everyone. Me and Matthew Eisenblaetter are presenting the article, United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz stepping down as the CEO of United Airlines. How do I? Okay. So the summary of the article is Oscar Munoz, pictured in the top right, was appointed in CEO of United Airlines in 2015, and he is stepping down from the position. Scott Kirby, in the bottom right, was let go as American Airlines president in 2016. He is poised to take over as CEO of United Airlines in May.
So Kirby, one airline threw him out, and another one hired him.
Right. Yes, he was positioned as president or a top exec in United Airlines after leaving American Airlines.
Okay.
He was said to have received executive coaching during his 3 years with United since being let go from American. And during his time at United, Kirby has helped them become the second largest U.S. carrier by traffic, and they have outperformed analysts' expectations in 11 out of the past 12 quarters. What the article says, thanks to his help from executive coaching. The article also talks about succession planning and why it is important. We define succession planning as the process whereby an organization ensures that employees are recruited and developed to fill each key role within the company. This involves a systematic process for preparing employees to fill key roles if they become vacant. This is important in organizational behavior because it is a tool for planning ahead in a case of unforeseeable circumstances, like how the article mentioned Oscar Munoz suffered from a heart attack while he was CEO at United. The challenges faced that we found through our research is for a company is figuring out who will be promoted. Sometimes it's not the highest positioned employee that's best for the job. It's more important to figure out which employee has the best skills, experience for a future position, and one that will benefit the greatest from the training and grooming for that position. It is also important to resist bias regarding age, gender, and background and familiarity in order to determine the person best suited for the position.
You guys might want to also take a look at, and everybody else listening to this, there is a really, really good video that a couple students did earlier today, and that is on unconscious or implicit bias. It really gets into detail about these. And it's not it's not like we do it consciously, but it's a very subconscious or implicit bias. So a good point that you brought that out, yes.
Right, and through our research, we saw some of those unimplicit biases where men tend to hire men or feel more comfortable promoting men, women tend to feel more comfortable promoting women, and there's a couple other examples within that. The last challenge we saw facing succession planning was maintaining employee morale. Often employees are very eager to grow within a company, so it's a very key thing for organizations to make sure that there's an open discussion with all employees so that they don't feel undervalued or lose ambition for their position if they aren't granted this promotion.
Okay. Why do you think we have these biases?
People aren't like open-minded. I feel like how we learned in the self-reflection, like it's important to be like open to change. Like some people are like stuck in their old ways, and like we're seeing how it's important to keep being open-minded, and how that could
and then probably be aware that there is that implicit bias that we have to acknowledge so that we don't get caught with it.
Yeah.
Right. I would also argue that familiarity probably plays a big role. Some executives or people in high-level positions are more comfortable or more familiar with some employees over others and might not be aware of the skills that the employees they're not familiar with possess.
Right. Somebody could have done a real good job on something, and that's the picture that executive has on them, and no matter whether that's just a one-time thing or what they do every day.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
So how do we tie this to our organizational behavior class? Organizational behavior, firstly, it allows organizations to perform well and allows employers and managers to perform better in their duties. This article ties directly to top managers, which are the individuals responsible for making an organization's decisions, establishing plans and goals that affect the entire organization. The prime example in this article is who is going to fill this position as CEO since Munoz had his heart attack. How do we prepare this person for this crucial top role? Also, how do organizations behave when selecting somebody for a top level position? In this article, United uses succession planning and executive coaching for the CEO to be. Another option that they could have utilized would be executive recruiting, which is basically finding somebody within the field who has been a CEO at a similar company with good experience and drive in the desired field for the CEO position. So instead of hiring within, it's basically just hiring out for the job.
Now, how much do you think politics, internal politics, plays into this?
Internal politics.
That I might have an alliance. I might have supported you in what you've done for a couple years, and you select me because you like me, and I have a strong political alliance within the firm. I get things done because I have the contacts and everything else.
I think that's a big component of business today, and like it brings to question some like moral ethics. Like I worry about like corruption with that, like some people getting the job just because they're more liked and they're not as suited for the job as other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would also tie it again, to familiarity, and like you said before, a project that somebody might work on may go noticed when other projects other people work on might go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And that can definitely play into how a person gets promoted for a position or undervalued in their own position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Executive coaching and how can it help? So what is executive coaching and how can it help leaders prepare for high-level roles in organizations? We defined an executive coach as a qualified professional that works with executives or high-potential employees to help them gain self-awareness, clarify their goals, achieve developmental objectives, unlock their potential, and act as a sounding board, or basically what that means is somebody they can go to when they have questions or concerns about their own performance or, how they should go about certain situations.
Yeah, so it's the self-awareness is literally what you guys are doing in the reflections.
Right, exactly. In the article, we saw that executives from American Airlines said that Mr. Kirby, they thought he was unprepared for the job at United, I guess based on his track record with them, even though the article points out that he was very prestigious in his own career, being, at the Pentagon before and having a wealth of experience in the airline. So I didn't really see where they were talking about him being unprepared for the job. But they pointed out that his success is most likely the result of executive coaching that he got at United.
Yeah, he probably did things at American that when he got to United, the coaches helped him realize that's probably something he might want to work on.
Right. So things he has done at United as a result of the executive coaching is when he first got there, he realigned the operations to focus on punctual departures, which is a key attraction for high-paying business passengers. And he also led an overhaul of the United's routes to boost hubs that were being underutilized for years. And we see now that the success of his actions at United has led them to become the second most successful carrier in the United States currently.
Okay.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of promoting from within like a company. The advantages of promoting within your company are that it boosts morale. People like want to work hard to like show that they're eligible for these positions. It also gives them like goals to aspire towards. It increases productivity for the reasons I just mentioned. It gives new employees goals to aspire towards. You're less likely to lose staff to other companies because you can incentivize them with this approach. Like if you promote from within, like you can incentivize people, and it also encourages building relationships because that's the most fundamental part of this strategy is keeping good relationships, maintaining relationships, and that all ties into organizational behavior. The disadvantages of this process are that it leads to less open-mindedness within a firm. And what I mean by that is when you promote from within, you tend to have like similar like views on everything. It's not as diverse. It's not as you don't get as broad of a viewpoint. So another disadvantage I already said, it's less diverse. Earlier in the presentation, like I said, I was worried that like it could lead to corruption. Like there might be other people out there that are better suited for the job, but just because people want to help out their friends or help out people with similar viewpoints, someone who doesn't have the company's best interests in mind might get the job anyway. And this strategy also, like I said, it leaves a low tolerance of other viewpoints because the people that are in power just want to hire their friends that have the same viewpoint with them as well. Here are Scott Kirby's key accomplishments while at United. He sparked one of the industry's largest turnarounds through effective leadership. He had great and natural leader qualities within him. He was responsible for sustained improvements in United Airlines performance and aggressive growth. Kirby is responsible for United Airlines becoming the second largest airline by traffic currently, and strong profit has caused United Airlines stock to outperform the competitions. This creates like a competitive advantage for United Airlines over their competitors. Just to note some other things that they did, Kirby totally remade United Airlines commercial structure. He reversed mistakes that were made before his predecessor, Munoz, took over. United's previous regime tried to shrink the airline company in order to improve profit, and Kirby instead, he implemented plans in order to grow the airline size and reclaim shares in the market that Delta Airlines and American Airlines had taken over from United. Like Rob mentioned, he also expanded upon, like he tried to utilize routes that weren't being used anymore. Like he tried to make those important again, and he did. Later, I'll
Yes, he
talk
definitely
about.
helped to strengthen their efficiency.
Yeah, later I'll talk about like his qualities and like why like they made him such a great leader. But his strengths are that he was incredibly intelligent. He graduated Harvard, and he also spent time at West Point. He's very disciplined because of all his training and schooling, and he has 20 plus years of experience in the industry, which is a lot. His weaknesses, he's been told to have a very imposing figure, and what I mean by that is that he's very blunt. People say that like he tends to be a know-it-all. If someone's giving a presentation in a room, he tends to find any holes that are in that person's presentations and ridicule those people on it. He's not very charismatic. He has poor people skills. And although some of his actions at United have been geared towards improving like the business's ethicality, he is some would say like he's very profit oriented, and he's very concerned about profit.
I'm almost to the point of putting that ahead of taking care of people.
Yes.
It's interesting that you can get to that level without having good people skills.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting, but he's also a very smart guy, and I guess he just showed that he had the tools to get the job done. He did a lot at United.
Yeah, I think his experience definitely helped play a big part in his promotion as well.
He had a lot of skills to be a good CEO, which are the skills we're about to talk about. He had a willingness and ability to lead people. He embodied adept people skills, and well, actually, he didn't. That's the only one that he didn't embody. But he you have to be, in order to be a good CEO, you have to have adept people skills, ensuring fruitful relationships. You have to be able to balance the importance of ethics and profit, which he did towards the end. You need effective communication skills, which Scott Kirby needs to work on. You need, as a CEO, to have a willingness to take calculated risks, which he did. He wanted to expand the size of United Airlines when all of the board of directors wanted to shrink it. And stockholders were very critical of this move, and it's proved out to be very critical in United Airlines' success. They're the second biggest airline in terms of traffic. In order to be a good CEO, you also need to be open-minded and open towards change and different perspectives. That all ties into being open to diversity within the workplace. You need good listening skills, and you need a cognitive ability in order to rationalize thoughts.
What do you mean by that? Could you maybe explain what that is?
Rationalizing thoughts, what I wanted to emphasize there was being able to decide right from wrong. Like when we're talking about profit and ethics, I wanted to discuss where like it would be profitable for the country to pay our workers less. Well, maybe we should give them a boost in their pay in order to ensure that like they're good, productive, happy workers and ultimately leading a happy lifestyle.
Okay. So now if you're looking at this, if you want to be a leader in a company and grow, these are the skills you should have and work on developing.
Yes.
Right. I think that having people skills and being able to build relationships is probably one of the most important. You don't get anywhere, or you don't get far going anywhere unless you're able to work with people and help people to succeed in their own position, rather than putting them down, or like the article said, he's very brash and people find him somewhat hard to deal with. I think that's something he definitely could work on, and that could help him be more successful with his wealth of experience.
Yeah.
Other closing thoughts? Something. What did you learn? What did you learn about yourself? Learn about OB? What learning did you have as a result of reading the article and putting this together and talking about it?
I would say that I learned that it's probably in most cases better to hire from within, because in your own company you're able to grow somebody, have them more used to like your own company's culture, how things work in your company, and instead of bringing somebody in fresh from a different company, they'll have a better ability to do well in a company they've already been in rather than one they're just starting in. So
it's almost a proven commodity versus an outsider.
Right. I would say succession planning and hiring from within, and from the article and from what our research has told us, is, I would say, most of the time the better option for an organization to take.
Yeah.
Anything?
I kind of agree with what Rob said. This article definitely like opened my mind to like the importance of being ethical over profitable. Most guys in Kirby's case would have probably just done things that just helped out the shareholders and the company the most without thinking of the employees. But like he actually did keep some of the employees' thoughts in mind. He looked to like expand their marketing and like their business relations like within the company. So like Rob said, like for all the reasons he said, I agree with promoting from within for the most part. And not only does that like incentivize people to work hard and do well, it also makes people more receptive to receiving training like how we are in this course with organizational behavior.
Okay, great. Super
Yeah.
job. Thank you. Go ahead and get anything else.
Oh, and here are some of the sources we used for our presentation.